What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna be doing a Lonzo Ball taper blowout type haircut. Hope you get something from this video, but we're not gonna do a lot of chit chat. I wanna get straight to the video. Smash that subscribe button and let's get to the haircut.
Look, I just flipped the switch.
Good YouTube, back here with another video today. In today's video, we're gonna be doing a Lonzo Ball blowout taper type haircut like I told you. First of all, I put in some water spray on the hair to saturate it a little bit so we can pick out that hair with ease. And then after that, we're gonna go ahead and start making a traveling guideline straight down the center. As you can see, I'm doing right there. I'm gonna go ahead and make that guideline on the side as well, and then also on the opposite side. And we're just gonna cut off a good, inch and a half just to get a lot of that bulk knocked out. As you can see, I'm cutting using the shears on the side of the head as well, but I'm not being too precise with the measurements on the side for the fact that I will be going over that with the clipper, freehanding it later on in the video. But right now, we got the top of the hair cut with a traveling guideline, and then I'm gonna go ahead and turn his head straight forward. I'm going to go ahead and work myself from the front of the head to the back of the head, and we're just going to cross check everything, and whatever we have hanging out over my fingers is what we're going to cut off. It's real simple. Just stick to a process and make sure that you are taking your time. This video is sped up during this portion, but I am taking my time to find the hairs that are sticking out, and we're getting those all cut and evenly cut at the top. That way we have a good area to work with and know what we're fading into. So now I'm cleaning up the bulk of the nape using a clipper over comb technique, and I'm just gonna knock a lot of hair off the back end so I can see what I'm fading. Using this clipper over comb, we're just gonna work our way from left to right, up and down, and we want to keep the shape, that blowout shape, to the haircut. So make sure that you're taking your time and just making sure you're paying attention to the shape of the haircut. Now the first thing we're going to do is going to take our wall seniors, and we're going to make our initial bald line, and that's just going to be the clipper clipper lever closed. And after that, we're going to go ahead and take that lever, open it up, and make our first panel of hair that we're going to fade. As you can see, I'm doing there. And right now I flipped it over because a lot of his the corner part of his hair grows up, so you want to make sure that you're going against the grain to make sure that you are getting everything cut evenly. So after that, I took the lever, we're playing with the lever, and just making sure all that stuff is evenly faded up in that panel of hair that we're fading up. Now the second thing we're going to do is going to take our half guard lever open and make another panel of hair to fade into, just slowly raising that fade up towards the occipital bone, and just making sure that we keep the shape that we want. It's going to be a taper on the back and taper on the temple area, and that's going to be our blowout shape that we're going to be doing. With every haircut, like I said, to follow a process, we close the lever and we're just slowly opening it, going up and fading that panel of hair until we get that area faded out. Now the next thing that we're going to take is just, like I said, follow a process. The next guard up from my half guard is going to be your one guard. Got the one guard lever open, or making another panel of hair to fade into. So you want to make sure that you're going against the grain. A lot of times on the nape area, people's hair tends to grow in weird directions. You want to make sure that you're going against the grain every single time to make sure that you have a good blend and no dark areas in your fade. And just be consistent with this and make sure you watch what you're doing, and just continue to follow the steps. Now I did lever close after I did the lever open, and we're just lever play to get those dark spots out and fade up. And then I got my 1.5 guard now. That's the next guard up from your one. Follow the process, and we're just lever open, fading up, and then we're gonna lever play up into that bulk of the hair right there. Now after I use the 1.5 guard, we're gonna go ahead and use that number 2 guard. But after number 2 guard, I usually use just clipper over comb or shears. 2 is the largest guard that I will use when I'm cutting hair. And so right now we have the 2 open, and we're just scooping outwards, maintaining that blowout shape for the taper, and just not cutting too high over the occipital bone area, and just making sure that we can keep some shape to this haircut. Now, as you can see, I'm flicking outwards, and that's just, we're riding that hair out to keep that blowout shape, like I said. Now, once we do that, we're gonna take that 2 guard and we're gonna lever close, and then just slowly open it up and fade up into that bulk of the hair. Now, this is not an area where we're done yet, so after that, I have the lever open on my seniors, and I have the comb slightly beveled outwards. I have the ridge of the comb on the back of the nape, and I'm beveling the comb outwards towards me so we can keep that shape. But we're going to cut off a lot of the bulk area, a lot of the stuff that's hanging over, a lot of stuff that could go, a lot of the dark spots that are going to be all cut out with this clipper over comb technique. Now, once that is over and we're done with that, we're going to fine tune it using our thinning shears, and this is just going to give you not so much cutting off length, but cutting off bulky areas, and it's just a way to fine tune and detail your haircuts. I highly suggest that you find a way to detail, because a lot of clients will pay attention to detail work, so make sure you're doing that. And now I have just the clipper lever close, and we're just free shaping that back end, and as you can see, the shape is coming together for that blowout, and it's all flowing. That's what you want in a haircut. And after we do that, we're gonna go ahead and edge up the nape area on both the right and the left side. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to reference points, behind the ear and on the nape. That way you can get, close to exactly the same spot on the left side as you do the right side. And every time I do a shape up, I always go over my work with the trimmer with a shaver. So in this case, we're using the Andis Slimline Pro Allies, and then I'm going to go over what I balled out with the Andis foil shaver, just to make sure that we get all that stubble out, and make sure that's a nice clean bald area that we have edged up, and it makes the edge up just pop even more crispier than just the trimmer alone. Now we're going to get to that temple area taper. Now I'm just using clip over comb, lever open, and we're just going to go ahead and get a lot of this bulk knocked out. From there, lever close, make our first bald guideline using just the seniors, lever close, and then after that have the lever open and just fading slightly up just a little bit, because we want to be able to see the C-cup area and be able to edge that up. And once we have the lever open, we revert back to lever close and lever play so we get that panel of hair faded out. Just like the backside, up to your half guard. This is a foolproof method on how to fade, on how to taper. Lever close with the half guard, and you lever play, get that panel of hair faded out. And then right after the half guard, you already know what's going to come next, and that's going to be your 1 guard. But before we get to that, I am going to bald out that bottom portion of the taper with the Andis shaver, and then we'll get that 1 guard on there and start fading up, lever open. And that's going to be another panel of hair that we're going to fade into. We'll fade up and get all blended nicely, blended completely, and just make sure that it all is smooth and blurry. That's what we're looking for. So lever close, as you can see I did there, and then after that we're going to go ahead and get our 1.5 guard, and we're flicking out. We're not digging too much into the temple area. We're kind of flicking out with flick out motion to the taper. That way, we're still trying to keep that blowout shape. Like I said, you want to have your hair flare up, kind of like a Goku haircut, so to speak, or a Poly D type shape. That's what we're doing to this fro that we have here. And after that, just like we did on the back side, we're going to take that 2 guard lever open and just work our way up, flicking out with that clipper as we pull off the scalp, and just making sure we have a nice shape to it. You want to make sure you're constantly brushing the hair in the direction that it's supposed to lay. That way you can keep some consistency and getting all the areas that you need to be faded completely. A lot of times if you don't brush the hair where it's supposed to go, if you do the fade and then brush the hair after that, you'll see areas where it's darker or where it's needs to be blended a lot more. Now I'm just free shaping that back end behind the side part behind the ears, and free shaping the front. I used the 2 open on the front of the hair, flicking outward just to get a open area to edge up once we get to that portion of the haircut. But after I do all that, we're going to go ahead and edge up around the ear. You want to make sure that your motion is nice and smooth and complete, and it all flows together. Make it nice and round. You don't want a lot of hair hanging out over over that back portion. So I always brush the hair down, edge up, brush the hair down, edge up. And I just want to make sure that nothing, no stray hairs are flying away or sticking out. And then we're going to go ahead and get to the C-cup area using our Andis Slimline Pro Allies. And we're just going to make sure that we have a nice, crispy, rounded C-cup for this haircut. You can see that it's really popping, it's really crispy. And I'm just going to use the trimmer for now, but then I'll show you a technique later on in the video on how I get this part completely balded out, not using a razor. After that, I have the left side is going to be time-lapse, but it's the exact same process that we did on the right side. Just follow your steps and you will be A1 with your haircuts. Just follow a process and get as many reps in as you can, and that consistency will build, and you will continually put out some blurry work as long as you don't get lost in your fades. And this is a method on how not to get lost in your fades. This is something that I've used for years now, being in the shop, and it's really helped me out. And as far as reps, reps will always make you better, always make you a better barber. Better at blending, better at time management, better at how fast you get your haircuts done, and just continually stay on the grind, and you'll get better at your craft. I look at haircuts from back when I was in school compared to now, and I'm completely amazed at what kind of work I could put out now. So it's just a humbling thing to see is your progression in this field. So just stay on the grind, keep pushing, keep learning, keep watching videos, take classes, and just continually progress in your career field, and strive to be the best that you could possibly be, because you are your greatest competition. Especially in this field that we are in specifically. You are an entrepreneur, you are your own boss, you are your own business. So make sure that you're always trying to elevate to the next level. But as you can see, this side of the haircut is coming together. This blend is nice and blurry. The shape, you can see it's coming together. So I'm just blowing the client off and getting all the hair off of him in the cape. I want to go ahead and get to that C-cup area, edge that up, and you want to make sure, like I said, make reference points. How far from the eyebrow is it? Are you edging up on this side compared to the other side? Is it at the edge of the eyebrow point where you're going to make your vertical bar? Just little things like that will help you maintain some symmetry in your work, and you want to make sure that your work is symmetrical, because people pay attention to stuff like that. But after you got the C-cup area edged up, we're going to go ahead and focus on our front edge up. And I made a portion in the center where I edged up, and I'm working my way to the side. Right here on the side, I did kind of get a little it was a little difficult right here, just with the hair that's hanging over and stuff. I had to go over it multiple times and brush the hair in different directions that it's gonna lay, to make sure that we get little flyaways all knocked out. So you can see me brushing right here, getting it to go back in the direction that it's gonna lay. Once he styles it and once he showers and stuff like that, the hair gets washed. So just pay attention to the way the hair is supposed to lay, and the way that the hair is gonna be when it's wet and when it's dry. That's a big factor in doing haircuts, is how it's going to be after the hair is washed. So right now we're doing the left side of the edge up, getting that all knocked out, and it's looking nice and crispy. That's what we want, is a crispy edge up and a blurry blend. A lot of times these haircuts would scare me back in the day, because it was hard for me to freeform and just to get different techniques down with a haircut like this. But now I'm knocking them out, and that's all with repetition. That's all being in the shop and just constantly putting the reps in, not being scared to take on a challenge, and always just trying to learn what I can. So right here is the way I was telling y'all how you can keep that nice and bald around the edge up area, not using a razor. For children, I really don't care to use a razor a lot of times, because kids move and whatnot. But right now I got the oil sheen spraying on the hair for the finishing touch, and that's pretty much it for the haircut. I appreciate everybody for watching the video, checking it out, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the after product that we have there, and that is the taper blowout haircut that we have here today. Something different for the channel, something different for all the subscribers. I appreciate everybody for checking out this video. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got more content coming out soon. If you're not following me on Instagram, go check out my Instagram, at Jayblends _. Go hit me a follow. I'll follow back. Drop some comments down below on what you'd like to see next. And until next time, peace.